The A380, the world's largest passenger aircraft, is set to be retired in 10 years. Airbus, the European airplane company that manufactured the A380, made the news. The decision was made due to a number of issues, including diminishing demand and growing prices, according to the business. But is it truly the end of the aircrafts, or might we see them again? The A380 was a symbol of luxury and comfort when it first entered service in 2007. It can transport up to 853 people, making it ideal for long-haul trips. The emergence of smaller, more fuel-efficient aircraft, on the other hand, has resulted in a drop in demand for the A380. Airbus stated in 2019 that it would be ending production of the A380 in 2021. This means that the A380 will be retired from service within the next 10 years. The Airbus A380 was a forward-thinking aircraft that not only built on the history of the enormous Boeing 747 jumbo jet, but also became a game-changer in the airline industry. However, it was an aircraft that simply did not match the economies of the time, and it was decommissioned before establishing any records. The A380 was canceled last year because of increased competition, rising fuel prices, and a lack of orders. Despite being employed by 13 different airlines over a 10-year period, the A380 could not achieve the market domination of its opponent, the Boeing 747. In reality, the A380 never made it into the lucrative American market, with no American airlines ever buying the type. The A380 had a vast seating capacity, but its fuel economy was so low and its operational costs were so expensive that airlines were hesitant to utilize it more frequently. Furthermore, newer aircraft, such as the Boeing 787 and A350, provided significant increases in fuel efficiency and the capacity to fly more than one or two daily services. Frequency of flights has proven popular with customers, finally led to the A380's demise. The A380 is not merely a marvel of engineering and manufacturing. Passengers from all around the world enjoy flying on this fantastic airplane. As a result, this news is distressing for us and the A380 communities throughout the world. Tom Enders, the CEO of Airbus. Emirates, the world's largest operator of the A380 class, has recently chosen to cut its entire Airbus A380 fleet from 162 aircraft to 123 remaining A380s, the majority of which will replace the present fleet in operation, and will instead purchase 40 smaller A330-900 and 30 A350-900 aircraft. While we are disappointed to have to cancel our order and saddened that the program was unable to continue, we accept that this is the reality of the situation. The A380 is a fantastic airplane that our customers and personnel adore. It is a point of differentiation for the Emirates. We demonstrated that individuals can actually fly better on the A380. Sheikh Ahmed bin Zayed Al Maktoum, chairman and CEO of Emirates, stated after the order was canceled. One significant problem is that there is not a secondary market to speak of, and many carriers, particularly Emirates, pride themselves on young fleets. So you could see 12-year-old jets being scrapped and turned into beer cans in record time. Abu Lafia adds, "We thought the fleet would last until the early 2030s, but they could all be gone by the mid to late 2020s. However, the plane's future is partly dependent on how the aviation sector recovers from the global coronavirus pandemic, and the A380 may be the most impacted." On Valentine's Day 2019, the world's hearts fell when Airbus declared that it was pulling the plug on its super jumbo A380 airliner. However, A380 enthusiasts may now buy a piece of the first A380 to begin scheduled service, a Singapore Airlines aircraft that was decommissioned in 2017. Aviation Tag, a German firm that specializes in upcycling crashed planes, has developed a limited number of one-of-a-kind tags fashioned from the fuselage of Airbus A380-97 SKA, which is also remarkable for being the first A380 to be demolished. Each tag is created from the hull, wings, or tail unit of the double-decker behemoth and may be used as a keychain or just as a collector's item, a tiny piece of aviation history. They measure around 1.5 by 3.5 inches and cost $30.19, or €27.95. The historic aircraft, with the manufacturer's serial number MSN 003, commenced service with Singapore Airlines on the Singapore-Sydney route with flight number SQ380 on October 25, 2007. The Airbus A380 cost $25 billion to create. However, the MSN 003 only flew for 10 years with Singapore Airlines before being decommissioned, transported to Tarbes, France, and recycled in 2019. Not only was it the first A380 to commence scheduled service, but it was also the first of the wide-body liners to be retired. It's a painful decision, Airbus CEO Tom Enders said in 2019, confirming the plane's demise. We've put a lot of effort, resources, and sweat into this aircraft. The A380 was the biggest mass-produced civil airplane in history, seating up to 853 people. But Airbus underestimated airlines' interest in the Super Jumbo. It had delivered just 234 of the craft at the time of the 2019 announcement, less than a fifth of the 1,200 it had expected when the double-decker was announced. Airlines' attention had switched to lighter, more fuel-efficient aircraft, and the sparkling, brilliant Jumbo had become something of a white elephant. The last pair of A380 wings departed the Airbus facility in Broughton, Wales in early February 2020, and the Super Jumbo's last delivery is expected in mid-2021, with Emirates as its farewell client. The A380's assembly was a massive undertaking befitting the world's biggest passenger airplane, with 4 million parts coming from 30 nations. The fuselage parts were produced in Hamburg, Germany, and Saint-Nazaire, France. The horizontal tailplane was made in Cadiz, Spain, and the vertical tail fin was made in Hamburg as well. The Jean-Luc Lagardère factory, located near Toulouse-Blagnac Airport in southern France, houses the final assembly line. Getting their hands on an A380 was a major thing for Aviation Tag. A lot of people think it's so simple just to go out and buy aircraft material, but it's not. Richter adds, every day, companies at aircraft boneyards and teardown facilities receive hundreds of calls and emails from people who want to buy material from them. So you need to have a good reputation in the industry and also be connected to others to actually get a chance to talk to the right people. All of the tags include serial numbers and registration information, allowing aficionados to research the craft's history. Would Airbus ever build it again? While this notion may appear to be a bit far-fetched at first, after all, we just spent a few minutes describing why the A380 cannot exist in the future. There are a few elements that, if adjusted, would make the A380 more popular. The first is the price of petrol. If fuel prices were decreased or an alternative, such as biofuel, was made available, the A380 would become highly appealing. There is no doubt that the A380's fuel burn per seat is among the greatest in the market, until we developed the Lockheed Martin supersonic A380. And if fuel prices were less significant, orders might possibly stream in. On the other hand, if the world's population grew, the A380 might be quite valuable. We have previously seen Malaysian Airways employ the A380 for pilgrimage flights and the high-fly A380 for vacationers to distant African islands, demonstrating that the A380 still has a valuable purpose in the sky. Furthermore, we have yet to see an A380 cargo version created, possibly as a conversion, which, while not as efficient as the Boeing 747-8F, has an impressive amount of cargo room on board. Finally, we must not forget that the A380 is a globally proven and approved aircraft. Airbus will always be able to easily switch the plant back on and resume production with low development costs. A new A320 would very certainly be improved and more appealing. Meanwhile, if you want to experience the excitement of flying on an A380, book your ticket as soon as possible. You might not have another chance in 10 years. While it's unfortunate that the A380 is no longer in production, it is vital to remember that it was a product of its time. It was a technical marvel that heralded the dawn of a new age in air travel. However, as the industry advances, so must the planes that fly in it. The A380 will be recognized as a bygone era's icon, but its legacy will go on.